Rain fell hard on the streets of the city. Cars moved slowly. People ran under umbrellas. But one woman walked alone, without an umbrella, without fear. Her name was Elena. Elena was 24 years old. She worked as a waitress in a small cafe near the docks. Life was hard for her. She had no family. Her parents died when she was young. She grew up in a small orphanage, then she grew up fast, learning to survive alone. That night, Elena finished her shift late. The cafe owner told her to lock up. She nodded and started walking home. The streets were empty. Only the sound of rain filled the air. She did not know that tonight her life would change forever. A black car stopped near her. The door opened. A man stepped out. He was tall, dressed in a dark coat. His face was serious, almost cold. His eyes were sharp, like he could see through people. This man was Dante Moretti, the son of the most powerful mafia family in the city. Everyone feared his name. Everyone except Elena. She did not know who he was. Dante was not supposed to be on this street. He was running from his own men. Someone betrayed him. Someone tried to kill him an hour ago. He had blood on his sleeve, though no one could see it in the dark. He walked fast, trying to disappear into the crowd. But there was no crowd. Only Elena. Their eyes met. For a moment, time stopped. Elena felt something strange, a feeling she could not explain. Dante felt it too, but he pushed it away. He did not have time for feelings. He needed to escape. "Excuse me," Elena said. "Are you okay? You look hurt." Dante did not answer at first. He was surprised. No one talked to him like this. No one dared to ask him if he was okay. People usually looked away when they saw him because they knew who he was and what he could do. But Elena did not know. She saw a man in pain and she wanted to help. "I'm fine," Dante said, his voice low. He tried to walk away, but his leg gave up. He fell to one knee. Elena rushed to him without thinking. "You're not fine. You're bleeding," she said. "Come with me. I can help you." Dante wanted to refuse. He wanted to push her away and disappear into the night. But his body was weak. He had lost too much blood. He looked at her eyes one more time, and something inside him told him to trust her. He nodded. Elena helped him walk to her small apartment above the cafe. It was not much, just one room, but it was clean and safe. She sat him down and got a first aid kit. "This will hurt a little," she said, cleaning his wound. Dante did not flinch, though pain shot through his leg. He was used to pain. But what he was not used to was kindness. No one had cared for him like this since his mother died many years ago. "Why are you helping me?" he asked. "You don't even know me." Elena smiled a little. "Does it matter? You needed help. That's enough for me." Dante studied her face. Her eyes were warm, full of light, different from the cold world he lived in. He wanted to remember this moment forever, though he did not know why. Outside, the rain continued to fall. Somewhere in the city, his men were searching for him. Somewhere in the shadows, his enemies were planning their next move. But in this small room, for a few minutes, Dante Moretti forgot about danger. He forgot about the Mafia war. He only saw Elena. After she finished, Dante stood up slowly. "I need to go," he said. "It's not safe for you if I stay." "Wait," Elena said. "What's your name?" Dante paused at the door. He looked back at her one last time. "It's better if you don't know," he said. Then he disappeared into the rain. Elena stood there, confused. She did not know his name. She did not know he was the most dangerous man in the city. But she knew one thing: she would never forget his eyes. What she did not know was that this was only the beginning. Dante would remember her too. And soon their paths would cross again in a way that would change both their lives forever. Danger was coming, and Elena was now part of a world she never knew existed. Here's part 2. Part 2, The Man Who Remembered. 3 days passed since the night in the rain. Elena tried to forget the stranger she helped. But she could not stop thinking about his eyes. Something about him felt different, dangerous, yet sad at the same time. She did not know his name. She did not know he was Dante Moretti, the man that everyone in the city feared. She only knew he needed help and she gave it to him. Meanwhile, Dante was not the same after that night. He sat in his office at the top of a tall building. His men stood around him, waiting for orders. His right-hand man Marco watched him carefully. Something was different about the boss. "You've been quiet since that night," Marco said. "What happened? You disappeared for hours. We thought you were dead." Dante did not answer right away. He looked out the window at the city below. Somewhere out there was Elena, the woman who saved his life without even knowing who he was. "Someone help me," Dante finally said. "A woman. She cleaned my wound. She didn't ask questions. She didn't want anything from me. Marco raised an eyebrow. That's strange. Everyone wants something from you, boss. Money, power, protection. Nobody just helps you. That's what I thought too, Dante said quietly. He could not explain why he kept thinking about her. In his world, trust was rare. People smiled at him but planned to betray him behind his back. His own family was full of secrets and lies. But Elena was different. She looked at him like a normal man, not like a dangerous mafia boss. Find her, Dante said suddenly. Marco looked surprised. Boss, are you sure? If people know you're interested in a random woman, she could become a target. Your enemies will use her against you. Dante knew this was true. His world was full of danger. Anyone close to him became a target. His enemies, the Cassano family, had been trying to kill him for months. If they learned about Elena, they would use her to hurt him. But he could not stop himself. He needed to know who she was. Just find out her name, Dante said. Nothing more. I need to know. Marco nodded, though worry filled his eyes. He left the office to start searching. Meanwhile, Elena's life continued as normal. She worked at the cafe, serving coffee and food to tired customers. But that day something felt strange. She noticed a man sitting in the corner, watching her closely. He was not a regular customer. He wore a suit, but his eyes moved around the room like he was searching for something or someone. Elena tried to ignore him, but she felt uneasy. When her shift ended, she walked home quickly, looking behind her every few steps. Unknown to her, this man worked for Dante. He was one of Marco's men, sent to learn more about her. He watched her from a distance, taking note of her schedule, her home, her habits. He reported everything back to Marco, who then reported to Dante. That night, Marco returned to Dante's office with information. Her name is Elena Rossi, Marco said. She's 24. She works at a small cafe near the docks. No family. She grew up in an orphanage. She has no connection to any mafia family, no dangerous friends, nothing suspicious. Dante listened carefully. Elena Rossi. Finally he had her name. She's clean, Marco continued. Completely innocent. Boss, I really think you should stay away from her. If the Cassano family learns you're interested in her, they will hurt her to get to you. Dante knew Marco was right. Getting close to Elena would put her in danger. He should stay away. He should forget about her and focus on protecting his family's business. But he could not forget her eyes. He could not forget her kindness. That night, Dante made a decision. He would not approach her directly. He would not tell her who he was. But he wanted to see her one more time, just to make sure she was safe. He walked to the cafe where she worked, wearing simple clothes instead of his usual expensive suits. He sat in a quiet corner, watching her serve customers with a smile. She worked hard, moving quickly between tables, always polite, always kind. Elena did not notice him at first. But when she came to take his order, her eyes widened in surprise. It's you, she whispered. The man from the rain. Dante's heart skipped. He did not expect her to recognize him so easily. I wanted to say thank you, Dante said, for helping me that night. Elena smiled, relief washing over her. I'm glad you're okay. I was worried about you. You left so suddenly. I had to, Dante said. It wasn't safe. Elena studied his face. She still did not know his real name or his real world. But she sensed there was more to him than he was showing her. Will you tell me your name now? She asked softly. Dante paused. If he told her his real name, everything could change. She might learn who he truly was, a mafia boss, a dangerous man surrounded by enemies. She might run away in fear. But looking into her warm eyes, he made a choice. Dante, he said simply. My name is Dante. Elena repeated the name softly, like she was memorizing it. Dante, she said. It's nice to finally know your name. Neither of them knew that this simple meeting would soon bring great danger. The Cassano family was already watching Dante closely. And soon, they would discover his connection to Elena Rossi, an innocent woman who knew nothing about the world she was about to enter. Outside the cafe, in the shadows across the street, a man in a dark car took a photo of Dante and Elena together. He smiled coldly and drove away into the night, ready to deliver dangerous news to his boss. Across the city, in a tall building made of glass and steel, sat Vincent Cassano. He was the head of the Cassano family, the biggest enemy of the Moretti family. For years, the two families had fought for control of the city. Blood had been spilled on both sides. Peace was never possible between them. Vincent was a dangerous man, older than Dante, but just as smart and just as cruel. He sat behind his desk when one of his men walked in with a folder. "Boss, we have something interesting," the man said, placing the folder on the desk. Vincent opened it slowly. Inside were photos of Dante Moretti sitting in a small cafe, talking to a young woman. Vincent studied the photos carefully. His eyes narrowed. "Who is she?" Vincent asked. "Her name is Elena Rossi. She's a waitress. No family, no connections, nothing special about her. But Dante visited her twice this week. Our man saw him there again yesterday." Vincent leaned back in his chair, a slow smile forming on his face. This was interesting news. Dante Moretti, the cold and careful mafia boss, never let anyone close to him. He trusted no one outside his family. But this woman, this simple waitress, seemed to be different. "Everyone has a weakness," Vincent said quietly. "I think we found Dante's." "What do you want us to do, boss?" Vincent thought for a moment. He could kill her right away, but that would be too simple, too fast. Dante would feel pain, yes, but only for a short time. Vincent wanted something more. He wanted to break Dante slowly, to make him suffer. "Watch her," Vincent said. "Learn everything about her life. Where she works, where she sleeps, who her friends are. We will use her when the time is right." The man nodded and left the office. Vincent looked at the photo again, staring at Elena's innocent smile. She had no idea that she had just become a weapon in a war she knew nothing about. Meanwhile, Elena's life continued normally, unaware of the danger growing around her. She still worked at the cafe every day, though her mind often drifted to Dante. Since that night in the rain, he had visited her 3 more times. Each time they talked a little more. She learned small things about him, though he never revealed too much. She learned he loved his family deeply, though he rarely spoke about them directly. She learned he did not sleep well at night. She learned he carried a heavy weight on his shoulders, something he never fully explained. Elena also began to notice strange things happening around her. A black car often parked outside the cafe, staying for hours without anyone getting out. She saw the same man walking behind her sometimes on her way home, though he always disappeared when she looked closely. One evening she mentioned this to Dante when he visited the cafe. "I think someone is following me," she said quietly, glancing around nervously. Dante's body tensed immediately. His eyes turned sharp, dangerous. "What do you mean? Tell me everything." Elena explained what she had noticed over the past few days. Dante listened carefully, his mind working fast. He knew exactly what this meant. His enemies had discovered his connection to Elena. Guilt filled his chest. He had brought danger into her simple, peaceful life. He should have stayed away from her, just like Marco warned him. Now she was in danger because of him. "Elena, listen to me carefully," Dante said, his voice serious. "You need to be careful. Don't walk alone at night. Don't talk to strangers. If you see anyone suspicious, call me immediately." "Dante, you're scaring me," Elena said. "Who are you really? Why would someone follow me?" Dante's heart ached. He knew he needed to tell her the truth, but he feared what would happen if he did. Would she run away from him in fear? Would she hate him for hiding his real identity? "I can't explain everything right now," Dante said. "But please trust me. I will protect you." Elena studied his face, seeing real fear and worry in his eyes. Despite her confusion, she felt something else too, a strange trust growing inside her. Somehow she believed him. "Okay," she whispered. "I trust you." That night, Dante returned to his office with a heavy heart. Marco noticed the tension immediately. "What happened, boss?" "They found her," Dante said. "The Cassano family knows about Elena. They're watching her." Marco's face turned serious. "Boss, I warned you this could happen. We need to act carefully. If Vincent Cassano is involved, he won't hesitate to use her against you." Dante clenched his fists. "I won't let anything happen to her, Marco. I need extra men watching her at all times. She needs protection 24 hours a day." Marco nodded, though worry still filled his eyes. "I'll arrange it, boss. But you know this puts everyone at risk, including her." Dante knew Marco was right, but he could not turn back now. He had already fallen too deep, and there was no way to protect Elena except to stay close to her. Meanwhile, across the city, Vincent Cassano watched from the shadows, patient and calculating. He knew Dante would try to protect Elena. He knew this would draw Dante out, make him vulnerable. Vincent smiled coldly, already planning his next move. The war between the two families was about to become personal, and Elena Rossi, an innocent woman who once simply wanted to help a stranger in the rain, was now caught in the middle of a deadly game she never asked to play. Little did she know, the danger was only just beginning. Soon she would learn the truth about Dante's world, a world of blood, betrayal, and power. And once she knew the truth, there would be no turning back. 2 weeks passed since Elena noticed she was being followed. During this time, Dante's men watched her closely, though she never saw them. They stayed hidden, following her from a safe distance, making sure no harm came to her. Elena felt the change in her life. Dante visited her almost every day now. Sometimes they talked for hours after her shift ended. Other times, they simply sat together in silence, enjoying each other's company. Slowly, without realizing it, Elena was falling for him. But questions still filled her mind. Who was Dante really? Why did danger follow him everywhere? Why did he never let her meet his family or see where he lived? One rainy evening, similar to the night they first met, Elena decided she needed answers. Dante arrived at the cafe after closing time, as he often did now. "Dante, we need to talk," Elena said, her voice firm. "I need to know the truth about you. I can't keep living like this, not knowing who you really are." Dante sighed deeply. He knew this moment would come eventually. He could not hide the truth forever, especially now that her life was in danger because of him. "Come with me," he said. "It's time you knew everything." He led her to his car, and they drove in silence through the rainy streets. Elena's heart raced, unsure what she was about to discover. They arrived at a large mansion, hidden behind tall gates and thick walls. Guards stood at the entrance, nodding respectfully as Dante's car passed through. Elena's eyes widened as she saw the size of the house. "Dante, what is this place? Whose house is this?" "It's my house," Dante said quietly. "This is where I grew up." Inside, the mansion was beautiful but cold, filled with expensive furniture and old family portraits. Dante led her to a private room, away from the guards and workers. "Elena, what I'm about to tell you will change everything," Dante said, his voice heavy with guilt. "My name is Dante Moretti. My family controls much of this city through business, but also through less legal means." Elena's breath caught. She had heard the name Moretti before, whispered fearfully among people in the city. Stories of power, crime, and danger surrounded that name. You're part of the Mafia?" Elena whispered, stepping back slightly. Dante nodded slowly. "I am the son of the Moretti family boss. Soon I will take over the entire organization. That's why danger follows me everywhere. That's why the Cassano family, our enemies, are now watching you too." Elena felt dizzy trying to process everything. The kind, quiet man she had grown to trust was actually one of the most dangerous men in the city. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" she asked, her voice shaking. "I was afraid," Dante admitted. "Afraid you would leave me if you knew the truth. Afraid you would look at me with fear instead of kindness like everyone else does." Elena stayed silent, her mind racing with fear, confusion, and something else, a strange understanding. Despite everything, she remembered the man who sat quietly with her, who listened to her problems, who treated her gently despite his dangerous world. "You should have told me from the beginning," Elena said softly. "But I understand why you didn't." Dante looked at her, surprised by her calm response. "You're not scared of me?" "I am scared," Elena admitted. "But not of you. I'm scared of what could happen because of who you are. I'm scared for both of us." Dante stepped closer, taking her hands gently. "I will protect you, Elena. No matter what happens, I promise you that." Suddenly the door burst open. Marco rushed in, his face pale with worry. "Boss, we have a problem," Marco said urgently. "The Cassano family attacked one of our warehouses. 2 of our men are dead. This isn't a warning anymore, boss. This is war." Dante's body tensed immediately, his calm expression turning hard and serious. The peaceful moment with Elena shattered instantly. "Gather the men," Dante ordered. "I need to handle this personally." "Boss, what about her?" Marco asked, glancing at Elena. Dante turned back to Elena, his eyes filled with worry. "You need to stay here in this house. It's the safest place for you right now. Please trust me." Elena nodded slowly, though fear gripped her heart. "Be careful, Dante." Dante squeezed her hand gently before leaving quickly with Marco. Elena stood alone in the large mansion, surrounded by silence and uncertainty. She walked to the window, watching Dante's car disappear into the rainy night. She thought about everything she just learned. Dante was not just a simple man from the streets. He was the heir to one of the most powerful and feared families in the city. And now, because of their relationship, she was caught directly in the middle of a violent war between 2 dangerous families. Meanwhile, across the city, Vincent Cassano received news of the attack on the warehouse. He smiled coldly, satisfied with his men's success. "This is only the beginning," Vincent said to his men. "Dante will come after us now, angry and reckless. That's exactly what we want. When he's not thinking clearly, that's when we strike where it truly hurts him. Vincent's eyes turned toward a photo of Elena, still sitting on his desk. Prepare our men, Vincent ordered. Soon we'll have a very special guest visiting us. Back at the mansion, Elena felt a cold chill run down her spine, though she did not know why. Unknown to her, she had just become the most important target in a deadly game between two powerful enemies. And soon, her life would be in more danger than she ever imagined. The war between the Moretti and Cassano families had officially begun, and Elena Rossi, once an ordinary waitress, was now standing right in the middle of it. 3 days passed since the attack on the Moretti warehouse. The city felt tense, like a storm ready to break. Dante spent most of his time in meetings with his men, planning how to respond to the Cassano family's attack. He barely slept, his mind constantly worried about protecting his family's business and keeping Elena safe. Elena stayed at the mansion, though she felt like a prisoner in a golden cage. She missed her small apartment, her simple job at the cafe, her quiet life before she met Dante. But she understood the danger outside these walls. Guards watched every entrance, every window. Dante had promised her safety, and for now the mansion felt like the only safe place in the city. Every evening, Dante returned to see her, exhausted but trying to stay strong for her sake. Their bond grew stronger despite the danger surrounding them. Elena began to understand his world better, though fear remained constantly in the back of her mind. One evening, Dante came to her with a serious expression. Elena, I need to leave the city for 2 days. There's an important meeting with our allies. I need their support to end this war with the Cassano family. Elena's heart tightened with worry. Do you have to go? Can't someone else handle it? I wish I could stay, Dante said gently, holding her hands. But this meeting is too important. I need to secure our position before Vincent makes another move. Please be careful, Elena whispered. I will, Dante promised. Marco will stay here with extra guards to protect you. You'll be safe, I promise. The next morning, Dante left the city with a small group of trusted men. Marco stayed behind, taking his responsibility seriously. He doubled the guards around the mansion, checking every corner personally. But what none of them knew was that Vincent Cassano had been waiting patiently for this exact moment. He had spies everywhere, even among people they trusted. One of the mansion's guards, a man named Rico, had secretly been working for Vincent for months, promised a large sum of money in exchange for information. That night, Rico contacted Vincent secretly. Dante left the city. Only Marco and half the guards remain. This is your chance. Vincent smiled coldly. Good work, Rico. Prepare the others. Tonight we finish this. Late that night, Elena sat in her room unable to sleep. She missed Dante's presence, worried about his safety. Around midnight she heard strange noises outside her window, faint but unusual. She dismissed it as her imagination, trying to calm her racing heart. Suddenly the lights in the mansion went out. Complete darkness surrounded her. Elena's heart raced as she heard shouting outside, followed by gunshots. Fear gripped her entire body. She ran to her door, trying to escape, but before she could open it, 3 men rushed inside. She screamed, but a hand quickly covered her mouth. Don't scream, a rough voice warned her. Come quietly and you won't get hurt. Elena struggled desperately, but the men were too strong. They dragged her out of her room through the chaos outside. She saw guards lying on the ground, some injured, others not moving at all. Marco fought desperately against several attackers, blood covering his face, but he was outnumbered. Elena! Marco shouted, trying to reach her, but more men blocked his way. The last thing Elena saw before being pushed into a car was Marco falling to the ground, overwhelmed by Vincent's men. Then, everything went dark as someone placed a cloth over her face, and she lost consciousness. When Elena woke up, she found herself in an unfamiliar room, tied to a chair. Her head pounded, her body ached from the earlier struggle. She looked around, trying to understand where she was. The room was cold, with gray walls and a single small window near the ceiling. The door opened and Vincent Cassano walked in, smiling coldly. Ah, you're finally awake, Vincent said, walking closer. Elena Rossi, it's nice to finally meet you properly. Who are you? What do you want from me? Elena demanded, though fear clearly filled her voice. I'm sure Dante has never mentioned my name, Vincent said, ignoring her question. I am Vincent Cassano. Dante's family and mine have been enemies for generations. And now, my dear, you've become an important part of our conflict. Elena's body trembled. Please let me go. I have nothing to do with your war. Vincent laughed coldly. That's where you're wrong. You've become Dante's weakness. And weaknesses must be used carefully. Meanwhile, Dante received urgent news during his meeting. Marco called him, his voice weak from injury. "Boss," Marco said painfully, "they took Elena. The mansion was attacked. I couldn't protect her." Dante's blood ran cold. His worst fear had become reality. "Marco, are you okay? What happened exactly?" "I'm hurt but I'll survive," Marco said. "But boss, Vincent's men were prepared. Someone betrayed us from the inside." Dante's hands shook with anger and fear. "I'm coming back immediately. Find out who betrayed us. I want answers when I arrive." Dante ended the call, his mind racing with fear for Elena's safety. He should have never left her, no matter how important the meeting was. Guilt and anger mixed together inside him, creating a dangerous storm of emotions. As Dante rushed back to the city, Vincent stood in front of Elena, studying her carefully. "Dante will come for you," Vincent said confidently. "And when he does, he'll walk straight into my trap. This war will finally end exactly the way I planned." Elena's eyes filled with tears, fear mixing with hope. She knew Dante would come for her, no matter the danger. But she also feared what Vincent had planned, what deadly trap awaited Dante upon his return. The war between Moretti and Cassano had reached its most dangerous point. Elena was now Vincent's prisoner, a valuable piece in his deadly game against Dante. And soon, Dante would have to make a choice that could change everything, risking his own life to save the woman he had grown to love. Dante arrived back in the city just before dawn, his heart pounding with fear and anger. He rushed straight to the mansion, finding it in ruins. Broken glass covered the floor. Furniture was destroyed. Blood stained the walls where his men had fought bravely to protect Elena. Marco sat on a chair, his arm bandaged, his face bruised, but his eyes sharp and alert despite his injuries. "Marco, tell me everything," Dante demanded, kneeling beside him. "It was Rico," Marco said bitterly. "He betrayed us. He let Vincent's men inside. We fought hard, boss, but they had the advantage of surprise." Dante's fists clenched tightly. Rico had worked for his family for years. The betrayal cut deep, but there was no time for anger now. Elena's life was at risk. Where would Vincent take her? Dante asked urgently. "There's an old warehouse near the docks," Marco said. "Vincent uses it sometimes for private business. It's probably where he's holding her." Dante nodded firmly. "Gather every man we have left. We're getting her back tonight." Meanwhile, in the cold room, Elena sat quietly, trying to stay calm despite her fear. Vincent had left her alone for hours, giving her time to worry and imagine the worst. She thought about Dante constantly, praying he was safe, praying he would find her soon. The door opened again and Vincent walked in, his expression calm but dangerous. "Your boyfriend is back in the city," Vincent said smoothly. "He's already searching for you. Soon he'll walk right into my hands." "Please," Elena begged, "just let me go. I'm not part of this. I never wanted any part of it." Vincent studied her carefully. For a brief moment, something like sympathy flickered in his eyes, quickly replaced by cold determination. "I'm sorry, Elena. But you're too valuable now. Dante will trade anything for your life, including his own." As night fell, Dante and his remaining men prepared for the rescue. They approached the warehouse carefully, staying hidden in the shadows. Dante's heart raced, fear for Elena mixing with cold determination to save her, no matter the cost. Inside the warehouse, Vincent's men stood guard, watching carefully for any sign of Dante's arrival. Vincent himself waited patiently, confident in his plan. Dante signaled his men silently. They moved quickly, taking out guards one by one without alerting Vincent. Dante's heart pounded as he approached the main room, where he knew Elena was being held. Suddenly, gunfire erupted. Vincent's remaining men discovered Dante's presence, and chaos broke out. Dante fought fiercely, his mind focused entirely on reaching Elena. Bullets flew past him, but he pushed forward, determined not to lose her. Inside the room, Elena heard the gunfire outside, her heart racing with fear and hope. Vincent stood beside her, his gun pointed toward the door. "It seems your boyfriend has arrived," Vincent said coldly. "Let's give him a proper welcome." The door burst open and Dante rushed inside, his gun raised immediately toward Vincent. Their eyes met, filled with years of hatred and rivalry. "Let her go, Vincent," Dante said firmly. "This is between us. She has nothing to do with our war." Vincent smiled coldly, pressing his gun closer to Elena's head. "You're right, Dante. This is between us. But she's my leverage. Drop your weapon or she dies right here. Dante's hands trembled slightly, torn between his instincts and his fear for Elena. Slowly he lowered his gun to the ground. Good, Vincent said. Now let's finally end this rivalry once and for all. As Vincent turned his gun toward Dante, Elena, using every bit of courage she had, pushed Vincent's arm aside suddenly. The gun fired, missing Dante by inches. Chaos erupted as Dante quickly tackled Vincent to the ground, fighting fiercely for control of the weapon. Elena watched anxiously, her heart pounding as the two men struggled violently. Finally Dante gained control, pinning Vincent down firmly. It's over, Vincent, Dante said breathlessly. Your war ends today. Vincent laughed weakly, blood trickling from his lip. Maybe. But another enemy will always rise, Dante. This life never truly ends. Dante's men quickly secured Vincent, tying his hands as police sirens echoed outside, alerted secretly by Marco earlier as part of their plan. Dante had decided enough blood had been spilled. It was time to let the law handle Vincent's punishment, rather than continue the endless cycle of violence. Dante rushed to Elena, pulling her gently into his arms. Are you okay? Did they hurt you? Elena, trembling but relieved, shook her head. I'm okay now. You came for me. I'll always come for you, Dante whispered softly, holding her tightly. As police arrived, arresting Vincent and his remaining men, Dante and Elena stepped outside into the cool morning air. The sun was rising, casting a warm glow over the city, symbolizing a new beginning after a long, dangerous night. Weeks later, life slowly returned to normal, though nothing would ever be the same again. Dante worked to rebuild his family's business, focusing more on legal ventures, trying to leave behind the violent world he grew up in. Elena stood by his side, no longer just a simple waitress, but a woman who had proven her strength and courage. Sitting together one quiet evening, watching the sunset from the mansion's balcony, Elena turned to Dante with a soft smile. Do you regret meeting me that night in the rain? She asked gently. Dante shook his head immediately, taking her hand gently in his. Never. That night changed my life forever in the best way possible. You didn't know my name, but you saved me anyway. I'll never forget your eyes, Elena, not for as long as I live. Elena smiled, resting her head on his shoulder, feeling safe and loved for the first time in her life. Their story, born from danger and uncertainty, had become something beautiful, a testament to how love could survive even the darkest of circumstances. And those scars remained from their difficult journey. Together, they faced a brighter future, unafraid of whatever challenges awaited them next.